I'm Tom from Do-It-Yourself Home Automation, and also today from debugger.medium.com. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can mine a little bit of Bitcoin or any kind of cryptocurrency on nearly any PC. And why is this important? I think that a lot of people think that cryptocurrencies are some kind of mysterious thing. Maybe they've heard of them, but they haven't actually used them themselves. And surveys show that only about 11% of Americans actually own or use cryptocurrencies. But we all probably hear about them all the time, especially since Bitcoin, which is one of the major cryptocurrencies, has gone from about $4,000 in the beginning of 2020 up to about $40,000 at the end, and then dropped back down again to around 35,000. So it's been this sort of wild ride for crypto, and we've seen it in the news a lot. We've seen IPOs coming from some major crypto companies like Coinbase. And I think a lot of people are focused on it at the moment. But again, not that many people are actually using cryptocurrency coins. Most people don't understand how they work. They would have no idea how to create them. And I think that's a problem, not because more people should necessarily own cryptocurrency or invest in it. That's something that's really between you and your financial advisor. But just because I think everyone should have an understanding of how these coins work and their impact. Because even if you're not using crypto, it has a huge impact on society. The Bitcoin sort of market cap or total value is $600 billion with a B. That's a huge, huge amount of money. And the network required to run Bitcoin actually consumes more electrical power than most major countries, including countries like Spain and France. So this is a huge presence in our society. And I think it's important to have some kind of hands-on real world knowledge of how Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies work. And luckily, it's really easy to do that these days using some free software, which again, you can run on any PC. And you can follow this at my Tech Shortcuts for Life column. This is at debugger.medium.com. I have a full write-up, and I'll include that down in the description if you want to link to that. But I'm going to show a little bit about how you can mine a little bit of your own Bitcoins on your PC at home, just to get some hands-on experience with these cryptocurrencies. So what is mining and what are cryptocurrencies? Mining and cryptocurrencies are basically digital coins that are created by computers that solve really, really complex math problems. And when they solve these math problems, the results and the fact that they've solved them are logged in this giant kind of public database called the blockchain. It gets a lot more complicated than that. There's other uses for the blockchain, but basically it's computers solving really, really complex math problems. And when they do solve these problems, they're rewarded with these coins that then have some value, again, kind of rapidly changing value at the moment. And, in the early days of cryptocurrencies, you could actually use your own computer, solve some of these math problems, and end up with some of these coins directly. Now it's grown so complex, and these have grown so valuable that most people with most normal computers would never be able to actually find these coins on their own. So instead, people pool their resources together and work with others to mine these coins. And again, mining is just the term for having your computer solve these complex math problems. So there's lots of ways to do this. You can do it directly by downloading software that allows your computer to join a pool to solve these problems. For a lot of novices, though, that's probably too hard to do, requires too much kind of messing around with the specifics of how your computer works. So instead, I really like the software Nicehash, it's called. And it's really a one-click solution to start mining a little bit of these coins. And you can register to create a Nicehash account. Go to nicehash.com. They're not compensating me in any way for this, by the way. This is just an experiment that I've done on my own. So go to nicehash.com, create an account, and then download from your dashboard the Nicehash miner software. So this is the software that will let your computer go ahead and solve these math problems. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up so you can see what it looks like here. So this is Nicehash miner once you've installed it. We've got a couple of things going on here. So how does your computer actually solve these math problems to find cryptocurrency coins? It uses your GPU, which is your graphics card, and your CPU, processor for your computer. And GPUs are really uniquely suited to solving the kinds of math problems that create these cryptocurrency coins. So really, the better your GPU, the better your computer will be able to do this mining operation. We don't really have to care about that because, again, Nicehash Miner takes care of all of that for you. And it's going to tell you what you have in the way of a GPU and a CPU. By the way, to use this, you might have to create a Windows Defender exception for Nicehash. They have a tutorial on how to do that. And then once this is installed and ready to go, literally all I do is click Start Mining. Now, first, it's going to benchmark my hardware, which means it's going to look at what kind of graphics card I have, what kind of CPU I have, and also the prices of different cryptocurrency coins right now. And it's going to figure out what my computer will do the best job of mining. So that might not be Bitcoin. It might be some other kind of coin. Usually it is, in fact, some other kind of coin. And then it's going to start a process to actually use my computer's GPU and CPU to mine those. And again, I'm contributing to this big pool. And I can hear in my background, my computer starting to work hard to do this. The fans are ramping up. I can go over to devices and I can see if I want to a list of what my GPU and CPU are doing. But this is really going to run my computer at full blast. So that's something to be aware of. It does tend to use a lot of electrical power. And I'll get into that in a moment. But you can see now that it's finished the benchmarking process, it says mining, starting to do that mining operation. And in a couple of minutes, you'll start to see the current profitability of your mining. So I'm making about 33 cents per day at the moment. Not a huge amount. My computer, though, is not really set up for this operation. It's just my normal work PC. And as it does this, I'll see my balance here, the amount of Bitcoin that I'm getting. And again, this may be mining all different coins, but I'm actually going to be paid for my computer's time in Bitcoin. So you end up creating some Bitcoin for yourself, no matter what kind of coin your computer is actually working on. And again, you can see your profitability. This computer makes about 33 cents per day. My dedicated cryptocurrency mining computer, more like $1.20 to $1.50 per day. Still not a ton, but then we're getting up to the $30, $50 a month range. And if you have a really great gaming PC with multiple modern graphics cards and a strong CPU, you can probably make somewhere between that amount and up to maybe $5 per day using Nicehash. You can also get dedicated hardware that can get even faster, even better at doing this operation, and you can earn even more from it potentially. Once these coins are created, they're deposited into a wallet, it's called, that Nicehash creates for you, and then you can log into the Nicehash website and transfer those out to something like Coinbase or any other wallet, and you can also cash them in for what crypto people call fiat currency, which is what I would call real currency. So you can get US dollars or whatever your currency is in exchange for the Bitcoins that your computer has mined here or has been paid for. Once I accumulate these, though, I'm not actually making 32 cents per day here because there are some costs associated with doing this mining operation. And as I mentioned, my computer is using a lot of electrical power and generating a lot of heat to do this. So in order to figure out your actual profit, you want to know how much electricity your computer is using. And your profit really is going to depend on how much you pay for electricity. So where I am here in California, I pay a lot, about 32 cents per kilowatt hour. So I probably would not make a profit. However, if I had solar panels and I wasn't using all of their capacity, this is a great way to use some of it and probably make a better profit than selling my excess power back to my utility. Here in California, PGE would only pay me about 5 cents per kilowatt hour for my power, not that much. Probably better to use it for something like this. Or if I lived in an area with really cheap and abundant hydroelectric power, like some places further north in Canada, or just other cheap power sources, if my cost was lower, I would probably make profit from this operation as well. But really, I don't think here that your main goal should be to make a lot of profit. I think it's just a great way to very easily get a sense for, how to do this mining, what mining is, and once you have some of these Bitcoins, you can hold on to them, you can cash them in. I actually held on to mine from an experiment I did with Nicehash about a year and a half ago, and they've increased in value by about $200. Your mileage definitely will vary. It could just as easily have lost all of that. But again, it's just a small amount, so it doesn't really bother me. It's just sort of a fun, interesting way to get some hands-on experience with these new technologies. If you start to really find that you're enjoying using these, basic tools like Nicehash, you can of course dive in, do this in a lot more detail. I've gone from doing this to building my own cryptocurrency mining PC. So you can actually tailor the hardware specifically to this mining operation, start to learn about the best graphics cards, the best software to do this. You can download the algorithms to do mining directly instead of using a software like Nicehash. You can probably do it more efficiently that way, and certainly you can customize. You can also get a tool like MSI Afterburner that allows you to either underclock or overclock your GPU, squeeze a bit more power out of it, or even tone down the power and get the optimal balance between how much you're generating in profit versus how much electrical power your GPU is using. You can really tweak and do a lot to customize this in a lot of different ways if you find that you're enjoying doing it. You can also get into ASICs and things that are specific to mining one particular coin. That gets a lot riskier, a lot more complex, but it's really, I think, an interesting path to go down if that's something that you find that you enjoy. You can also start to look at, again, power consumption, and I use a little kilowatt meter, KILLAWATT. You can find it on Amazon. Plug it in between your computer and the wall, and it'll tell you how much power your computer is consuming when you're doing this mining operation. So you can start to get a sense for profitability, power consumption, experiment with ways to optimize that, maybe put in a platinum power supply to get better power consumption. Really, the sky's the limit in terms of the experiments you can do. And that's why I think Nicehash is really cool, because it's a jumping off point for anyone to start to do this mining operation, get some hands-on experience with cryptocurrencies, even if it's a really small scale, maybe especially since it's at a really small scale. And then, give yourself the opportunity to learn, to have some direct knowledge when you read a news story about Bitcoin or about cryptocurrencies, and maybe even find a new hobby or, a new opportunity in scaling it up and experimenting with some of the more complex hardware and software. If you want to read my whole write-up, I'll put it in the description below. You can also go to debugger.medium.com. You can follow me on Twitter at TomSmith585 for updates, news stories there, and follow my Tech Shortcuts for Life column on both of those places, where I'll share helpful shortcuts, 3 to 5 minute reads generally about everything from Bitcoin to cooking. And I come out with a new one of those every Monday. So follow along or follow along here.